Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Miracle of the Week, the story of the monk and the monster. Now, we've seen that miracles are demonstrations of the working of God's power in the human world. And we've also seen that miracles are a demonstration that God's power has triumphed over the false power of demons in the world. So miracles show in all sorts of ways the truth of the Christian message that the Christian authors of late antiquity and the early Middle Ages want to communicate. And one of the ways that this works in stories, we've seen, for example, in previous miracles of the week, we've seen curing of ailments, we've seen miraculous interventions in the course of battle. But miracles also, because they show that God's powers are greater than the powers of Satan, can also be used to help explain why it is that people convert to Christianity. So, for example, we get many stories in which a saint performs a miracle, and this miracle so impresses the non-Christians who witness the miracle that they convert to Christianity. The example that we're going to look at today belongs to the expansion of Christianity by Irish monks into northern Britain. We've seen in the classes for the module that Christianity had come to Britain under the Romans, then it went into retreat, and from the 6th century onwards, we get various efforts by missionaries to spread Christianity to bits of Britain that were not yet Christian, or which had reverted to paganism under the Anglo-Saxons. In the north of Britain, this activity was championed by Irish monks, and those Irish monks established a number of bases for their operations. One of the most important, first of all, was the great monastery of Iona in the Western Isles off the coast of Scotland. This then was the base for a number of missions. For example, the mission of Aidan that led to the foundation of another monastery at Lindisfarne. But the mission that we're concerned with is the mission of Columba, who for a number of years in the 590s was preaching the Christian message to the Picts living in the north of what is now Scotland. The particular story that we're dealing with today belongs to the biography or the hagiography of Columba, which is written for us by an individual called Adamnan. And Adamnan's work is quite interesting because it's divided into a number of books, and the second book is devoted to Columba's miracles. And on this occasion, on the occasion being described here, Columba and his followers are preaching to the Picts by what is called here the River Nessa. This is a long body of water in the centre of northern Scotland. We are, of course, dealing with Loch Ness and the River Ness that flows into Loch Ness. Now, interestingly, this account of Columba's activities in the late 6th century is our first record of the thing that is most associated with Loch Ness, that is the monster that lived, or that is reputed to have lived, in its waters. So, for example, what we hear is that Columba and his associates, when they reach the banks of Loch Ness, they see some locals burying the body of somebody who had been attacked and mauled by a monster that lived in the water of Loch Ness and whom they had tried to rescue. This, it seemed to Columba, was an opportunity to show the remarkable power of God. So what we have is Columba asking one of his monks to strip off and swim across Loch Ness and fetch a boat that he could see located on the other side. And it's an indication of just how much faith Columba's followers have that the monk that he asks to do this strips off immediately, strips down to his undergarments and jumps into the water. At this point, in a scene redolent of the film Jaws, we have the monster sensing the movement in the water, could feel the monk swimming across Loch Ness. And at this point, it stirs itself and shoots up from the depths as if to attack Columba's monk and devour him, just as it had done to countless other individuals who had been mauled by this monster. But at this point, Columba, who spots the monster swimming after his monk, raises his hand, and a bit like Gandalf from The Lord of the Rings, goes, "You shall not pass," and demands that the monster swim away. And we're told that as soon as the monster hears the voice of St. Columba, it is struck with terror and immediately swims away, as if it was being dragged away by ropes. And at this point, the monk was able to, who was almost on the point of being attacked by the monster, is able to continue his way across the lake and fetch the boat. And bring it back safe to Columba. And we're told that this hugely impressed Columba's followers, as it might well do. But also we're told that it impressed the individuals described here as the barbarous heathens, that is, the local pagans living by Loch Ness. And on account of the remarkable miracle that they see performed in front of them, they decide, in the words of the text, to magnify the God of the Christians. What that means is that they converted to Christianity as a result of having witnessed this miracle. So here again, we have a story with all sorts of supernatural elements in it. There is the Loch Ness monster. There is the miracle worked by St. Columba. And these supernatural elements in the story are there to explain why it is that Christianity is able to spread among the pagans living in Scotland. So it's an entertaining story full of extraordinary elements, a miracle and a monster. But above all, its purpose is to show that the power of God works in the world, and through God's power, God's people can be increased through this mass conversion of people who had seen the monk defeat the Loch Ness monster.